All right, welcome everybody. So excited to be here with you. I am on the Isle of Skye in Scotland, making my way north to eventually get to the Callanish stones in the Isle of Lewis, where I will be with Demetri, weaving the frequencies of love into our Mother Source creation grid, which we've created together for the summer solstice. And so it's been a beautiful and magical journey already, and we're only on day 4, and we have 4 more days till the solstice. What I wanted to do today was catch you up on what's happening so you can tap into the frequency and you can tap into the magic, because it takes all of us, and each one of you is a very important piece in this puzzle of this weaving that we're going to do at sunrise at the summer solstice on Thursday. I will then come back and we will do a summer solstice activation all together as we weave all this love into the Mother Source creation grid. So please make sure that you register for that. If you haven't already registered, it's donation based. And please share it with everyone. The more people holding this frequency, holding the love, simultaneously around the globe at the same time, the more powerful it will be. We are literally birthing a new timeline. And it's palpable. We can feel it, and it has been building over a period of time on the many journeys that I have taken recently to Dominher in Italy, to Ireland, where we opened the 9 portals, in Switzerland, where I connected with more portals, now in Scotland. So I've been very busy working to energetically connect with these certain pieces that we need to tap into vibrationally, to bring them into the cellular being, and to merge and weave them together through the frequency of love, to keep continuing to birth these new timelines that are supporting us as a collective to step into this threshold that we speak of 5D, and to avoid the repeat mistakes that we made in other times that we've lived in, perhaps thinking a lot of Atlantis. We're in the Atlantean code right now, and the demise of Atlantis, and the lessons learned from that, and these 24,000, these cycles that continue to occur where humanity reaches a brink, a point of extinction, and something occurs where we repeat the cycle again, with an opportunity this time that I strongly feel we can fully and completely avoid that and really step into the new earth. And there may be a splitting of sorts in timelines, as we notice through the work we're doing that they're birthing timelines so rapidly that wherever you are energetically and your frequency is aligning is the timeline you're on. And whatever that happens to be is divine and perfect for you. It is your own journey. But I feel strongly anyone listening to this in our community, working with us, is working as a light worker, as a spiritual being, to intentionally choose love over fear. And so that is what it is that we're doing. So what I'd like to do today is, I know it's Father's Day in the United States. A lot of people are busy. A lot of people probably listen to this replay. Please share it with your friends. I just want to give you an overview of the magic and what's happening and what we're doing, so you have a better understanding. And then we will all gather at 4:50 p.m. East Coast time on Zoom. There should be something where you got the link for today's call to register for the summer solstice. Please, again, share it with anyone. Again, it's donation based, so as many people as possible that are here, the more that are wanting to align with this new timeline, that are wanting to connect with this frequency. Not everybody is, but anyone that you know that wants to, we could use all the support, because we're energetically going to be holding this space actually at Callanish Stones here in Scotland. Okay, so I'm going to share a PowerPoint and start to tell you some of the little bit of the stories and the magic that has unfolded to date. And before I do that, I flew from the New York area to Edinburgh, and Debbie was coming from India to Edinburgh. And so there was a time lapse where I was waiting at the airport at the car rental place for her for a few hours. And I was renting a budget car, and the line for budget was like 2.5 hours. For some reason, there was this crazy thing. And that was where my reservation was. And I sat and I looked at it and I am like, I don't like to be in line. And all the other places, Hertz or Avis and whatever, had no lines. And I sat for a while and I was like, you know what? I'm just not going to do this. I'm going to go to a different place and get rid of my reservation and create another one. So I go up to the Hertz counter and I say to the guy, hey, I don't want to stay in line. Can you match this deal of the car I had? And he's like, sure, give me your information. I write it down. And he recognizes my email address as the Raphael, Angel Raphael. And he says, oh, my name is Gabriel. I said, yeah, two angels that work together. This is awesome. And we were laughing. And so he got me my car rental and he said, it's in the slot number 13. And this is the license plate number. The key should be in it. Go out and get it, put your luggage in. So I went out to do that. And when I got to slot 13, that was not the car that I was renting. It was not the license plate. So I thought, oh, it was just a mishap. I go back and I say to him, hey, it's not there. And he seems really bewildered. He's like, no, it's definitely in slot 13. And of course, there's 13 stones at Callanish, and the 14th stone is the stone that is going to be the full activation. So 13 and 14 are pretty important numbers. But I'm like, okay, so whatever. So we go, he says, I'll come out with you. We go out to the car rental place. And he's like, that's so weird that the car is not there. He says, oh, but it's in 14. And I'm like, okay, great. So he says, let me help you. You have a lot of bags. So he pulls the car out of the slot, which is backed up against a wall, just maybe a quarter of the way, enough so I can get behind it and put my bags in it. So I do that. And I'm like, thanks so much. He's like, oh, let me back it up for you. So he backs up the car and then he gets out and we get out and he says, okay, so this is the car. And we look and the car is not in slot 14, which is what he backed back up to because we backed out of 14, but in 13. And we're like, how did the car get in slot 13? And there was a car in slot 13, like that nobody moved. There was nobody else there, but he hadn't even moved really out of 14, but just a little bit. And we just look at each other and I'm like, what just happened? And he's like, timelines, we're moving timelines. And I'm like, yeah, Gabriel, we're moving timelines. And we were laughing. And this is the car rental guy. And then I was just like, that was an absolute time warp. I mean, I don't know what happened, but it was a clear message from the universe that 13 and 14 and timelines shifting and moving are essential. So I'm like, okay, I got the message, good to go. So I go back to the thing and I'm waiting for Debbie, and she had to sign off because she's a driver on the car with me. And he tells the story and he's like, I'm the angel Gabrielle. And Raphael and I are having some fun. And we're like, thanks. So that was cute, right? And it was a good beginning to the magic. And I just want to remind you guys that, it's in the ordinary with the people that we meet in our ordinary lives that slip in, right? As angels. And if I had decided not to go over and change from standing in line or what, but it feels so much that everything's orchestrated, like that the line was too big on purpose because they know me and I hate to stand in line and I'm like out of the box thinker. So I'm like, I'll just do something different. And he happened to be just there. And he wrote on the ticket, I have it, Gabriel in big letters, like, you need anything, let me know. Super sweet. So we went from there to the Roslin Chapel. I think I see Carita is on the call. She meditated with us. Her family is connected to the Knight of the Templars. And we went over to the Roslin Chapel. Let me show you, share my screen. Put this thing together just to give you guys a sense of what we're doing here. Okay, so we're going to the Callanish Stones on the Isle of Lewis. We will arrive there the night of the 19th, just in time for the solstice on the 20th. And what we're doing is we're unifying and weaving these energies, many different energies, as we recognize, that are coming in to birth this new timeline. And as we go through this and in the coming days, more of the pieces are going to come together. So far, in terms of the stones, we have 9 energies that have started to come in. And what we're going to ask all of you to do during the activation is to really tap into if any of these frequencies are calling to you energetically that you feel aligned with, that you would like in participating, connecting to the stones. And what I'm hoping is that we can get to the stones on time on the 19th to photograph each of them. We photographed the stones of another stone circle we were at a couple nights ago, and you really get the sense of the stones, their personality, the frequency they're carrying. They're living, beautiful beings that resonate sound, harmony, information, wisdom, and you'll want to connect into one of them that you might notice as we start to move through and pass through these timelines. And notice if there's something as I continue to go through this information that resonates with you, that you personally would like to weave into the solstice. Okay. So the first stop that we had was at the Roslin Chapel. For those of you who've taken the Merlin code with me, if you remember, Merlin brought us down over the bridge through the river of Esk into Roslin's temple. For me, the energy is most strong down underneath in this crypt area, and yet it feels as though, and Merlin has said that there's scrolls, symbols, and information hidden in the walls here that are very sacred and very important. And that there was a map room there. And so it's always great to start a magical journey with the map and getting an overview. There are lots of places. Roslin Chapel itself, although it's beautiful, energetically is not as huge hit to me as much as going down underneath into the crypt. But to me, the most powerful space around Roslin Chapel is the glen, is the outside energy. It's very beautiful there. There's a portal there that we were able to find. I don't know if you can see it depending on how your screen is showing up on the right. And we're able to walk through there and connect with this very sacred water. So we started our journey there. And then we took a boat and a ferry to the Isle of Mull, and then another boat to the Isle of Iona. And we went into this chapel. This chapel is very, very powerful. So there's an abbey on the Isle of Iona for those of you who've been there before. And but to me, the frequency, the energy that's really strong is here in this chapel. And we've been listening and connecting also to Freddie Silver. I don't know if how many of you are familiar with him. He does programs on Gaia TV. He's written many books. And he talks about this space as a place of practicing the living resurrection, where very powerful rituals were done. So as soon as I entered this space, and this happens to me often, well, first of all, we got off a boat with a lot of people. It was a beautiful day. We had played, I have to admit, I have a little bit of a talent of moving the weather. So it was supposed to pour the whole time we're here. And so far, every time we've needed it to be sunny, it's been perfectly sunny. So I just kind of move the clouds out of the way. And so the boat was pretty crowded. And we got off, and there were a lot of tourists. And they were, as we were approaching here, this chapel, they were all going in. And Deborah, she was like, "Oh, I wish we were alone in the chapel." I'm like, "Don't worry, I got it." So energetically, you can quickly move people out of spaces and create space. So kind of miraculous. There's nobody here, even though there's people swarming all around, but spirit created space. I laid down on the floor. The toning here and the acoustics are amazing. Did some toning, but if you look up, as you can see, this light that's above me is a crystal hitting the pineal gland. And this is a place here where it's our understanding that the practices of the living resurrection happen. What does that mean? When we think of the resurrection, we think of Christianity and Jesus, right? Resurrecting from the body, and the 3 days. But so there's some rituals and teachings and understandings that the resurrection they're speaking of is more of an astral travel where we're lifting up our body. We're talking about this right now in the Atlantean light code. And we're leaving the body for 3 days. So essentially the body is dead, but the cord is connected enough, and the consciousness and the frequency is so strong. And of course, it would have to be radiating a certain quality of love. in order to be able to do the travel needed to go to gather information. So information being gathered during that time that's essential for humanity, for a higher purpose, and then being able to re-enter the body. So in these ancient cultures, this understanding that those in the mystery schools and working with these rituals and teachings and learnings and understanding had the capacity to do this. And so if you're feeling that astral travel is something that you're good at, or the idea of bringing things back to life, and you're really wanting to tap into this practices of living resurrection, this is one of the frequencies that will be held within the stones that we will be weaving. And I want you to just tune in if that's showing up for you. So this is one of the energies we'll be working with. When we got there, I happen to have these goddesses. We've got our Nubian egg from Ireland that was on the stone of destiny there that opened up one of the 9 portals. We have another egg here working with the Atlantean code. We have the goddesses, and we just made spontaneously. As you can, if you look back here, you can see there's this altar, and there was a red candle there. And again, miraculous, nobody's there, just us, that we had enough time to create this altar with these 7 energies. So what we've been learning is that there's something called light conception. Again, going back to the story of Jesus and the virgin birth, right, of Gabriel, which Gabriel was interesting, was the angel that I met as soon as I arrived here in Scotland at the car rental place, brought the message to Mary that she was going to have a child in an untraditional manner. And the more that we read into and learn about this, there's certain rituals that need to take place in order to create light conception. And Mary being a very mystical and high priestess through many mystery schools, and more learning and understanding about her, that she had the capacity to merge what was needed to create light conception. There's some teachings that share that perhaps that was the original way of bringing life to the planet. And we'll get into that perhaps in one of the codes. It's really fascinating. But this was an important part that was needed, because what we're doing is we are seeding something and giving birth to something, and the elements needed to do that, some which are described, are these 7 virgins or goddesses frequencies coming together. So we have got the eggs, the light for the light conception, and these energies happen to just be in my pocketbook, and I whipped them out, threw them up on that altar, then laid down and did the toning. So that's starting to activate the light conception. Before we left, we had created this altar with the Mother Source Creation Grid that you guys are familiar with, which is this major grid that we're working with right now on the planet, that has been born through the New Earth Code that we've all worked on together, which is the weaving of this infinity and the codes that Raphael downloaded to me a few years ago. And the more I'm working with this, I realize that all of you are holding codes that you're giving, holding codes that you're receiving, that are very powerful. So there's everyone in the group, and then we have our ascended masters are kind of energetically holding it at an even more intentional level. And then I have people that are holding it for the collective, who are connected with large audiences. For instance, I had an opportunity to talk to Pam Gregory last week and share with her that energetically, through astrology and what it is that she is doing, and the beautiful impact and all the love that she shares on the planet, that Raphael had shared, that she's holding the Ascension Timeline Code on a collective. We're all holding things energetically, personally, on many levels, but the more we're rippling it out into much larger audiences, and the more it's integrating into that, we're even holding it even more. And it's these layers, right? It's so beautiful. So we're going to develop something, and it's in the works soon. Those of you who were in the New Earth Code, you got your beautiful symbol from Devashri. I mean, those are just stunning, right? So yours is already in the grid. We have put it there. It's in this image. And so it's always being energetically activated when we're doing this work. but we want to extend that to everyone. So we're going to put a program together so for no cost, people can get their own symbol and they'll know that what it is that they're holding, what it is that they're receiving, and it will be added into the grid. So that's in the work for you guys. But in the meantime, whether it's one of these particular codes or the codes that are showing up on this trip, which are part of the codes, anything you're feeling connected to that you can hold that frequency with love, it will be entered and woven in during the summer solstice. And so if you're an ascended master and you're holding a particular code, just keep working with that energetically and vibrating with it, or whether you've received it during the new earth code or you want to receive one, just tap into what those are. Okay, so here we are putting this together. And then we went to, these are standing stones, not Callanish. We were at the Isle of Mull, and God, there were a lot of midgets. Do you guys, I don't know for those of you who've traveled in Scotland in the summertime, they were eating us alive. So I'm trying to bundle myself up here, and we are here in these stones. So this is a Lochbuie. These are 9 stones carrying the energy from the 9 points that we opened in Ireland. So these are portal openings, and I walked with Debistry. We walked in 2 different directions, and we wove the energies together. If you're feeling connected to the stones and the energy of opening portals, that might be tuning into you, but this was another important piece. Okay, look how beautiful this was. So again, we were alone. Can you imagine? So what's so amazing is on this entire trip, it's been about timing. Everything with the timing has just worked out beautifully. And spirit has really guided, and we're really paying attention and listening. So we were here at sunset, which is a beautiful threshold between day and darkness. This is the time of the in-between, we call it, where the veil is thinnest, and where the energy is palpable. So you can just tap into the beauty of this frequency that is here. Just breathe it in. Mhm. All right. Then our next step was this space here. This is the Templar Tower. Towers are very powerful way showers and energies. And the inside was blocked and dangerous, and you couldn't get in. But whenever I'm at a sacred space, I almost always walk the perimeter. Even the Roslin Chapel, we kind of snuck behind it and found a little path, and we always walk the perimeter of things, sometimes once, sometimes 3 times before entering to connect with its frequency. So we walked the perimeter, and then we were kind of standing here at this doorway where we couldn't enter. And a Scottish man, older man, came up and was kind of curious what we were doing. And we were in his neighborhood, and he wasn't, I seemed a little skeptical, like you shouldn't be there. But we asked him about this chapel that we wanted to go to. It's the Chapel of Remembering. And he looked at us and he kind of said, "It's this way." But it was getting dark. It was already around 9 o'clock at night. And he's like, "You're not doing that tonight, are you?" We're like, "Yeah, we are." But if we hadn't seen him, we would never, ever have found this place that I'm going to show you next. And it is quite magical. So we leave here and we start driving, and he's like, "You can drive a little ways and then you have to walk." And we don't have pictures, but the road, I mean, we had the whole time on Mull, it's just a 1-lane road and you're pulling over or whatever. That's one thing. But this was even more narrow than that. Many times we weren't sure the car would even get through. And we had to go through these really crazy corners, but Debishri was driving. She was a trooper. We got pretty far up and we got out and started to walk. As we're walking, we pass this one space where this mountain is, and I'm going to send out a video. You'll have a better understanding of this. But I want to remind you guys that often inside the mountains, just like in Telos and Mount Shasta, the Lemurian frequencies are present, and we're working in the Atlantean code, right? And so uh, Raphael had talked about that Atlantis has already given birth to a new Atlantis that's crystalline frequency within the grid that's already available to us to tap into. And so you're tapping into these places, but until you're out in these landscapes that are very barren and you've kind of let go of everything, you start to look at the landscapes in very different ways, and you recognize portal entrances where star beings are coming in. This is a beautiful example of that. It's not a good close-up of it, but if you can see here in the mountain, there's this area here. This is a portal opening. And then the reason we know that is that there's another space. I'm not sure if it's here. No, it's not. But where there's like a doorway on the around the bend. So we've got the ocean behind us, and I'll send a video with this, and I'm going to explain this in more detail. And another space where you can enter the mountain. Now, just like in Telos, when I was there in Mount Shasta, which I've been many times, sometimes we think, oh, is there living beings in like a city inside the mountain? Well, energetically on a certain timeline, yes, there is. And how do you enter? It's not like you go and open a door. You have to be at a certain frequency. And often what happens is you notice that through some type of element, whether it be the stones or the trees, for me, it was the stones in Shasta, that certain ones carry certain frequencies that are entrance points into these places. And by touching them and you start vibrating and meditating and connecting with them, you might fall asleep in the grass, you may just move into an altered state, and you enter, excuse me, into these places where you can have profound experiences and connections. But if you're not ready for it, it won't show up. But before you're ready to actually enter, you kind of have to know where the entrance points are. So you have to begin to read the landscape. So we read the landscape, and we walked ahead for a bit, and there was like, oh, and as we're driving, we're getting close to where this chapel should be, but we don't see it. We can't see anything. And fortunately, a car came, which was miraculous because we are nowhere. And we asked these people who've lived here their whole life where this chapel is, and they seem kind of stumped. Like, oh, I don't know. And they have to think about it and talk to each other. And literally, it's like a quarter of a mile, like you could see it, but they still didn't know. It was almost like you really have to energetically be ready to enter. So they show us, and we make a right, and we get out of the car and we walk, and there's all these trees hiding it. So you would never find this place, but we did. We entered into this place, and the energy was very intense. It's very difficult to capture here in photograph. You get an idea. These are some Maltese crosses, some stones that Debashri and I ended up standing next to and doing a powerful ritual. The ceiling is made of these stars, and it feels as though it's a spaceship. This feels as though it's a time machine, that energetically, through certain practices, being in this space, or it has been used to time travel. I know that's pretty out there thing to say, but that's what it feels like. So we were there. And we went the first night, and it was getting really dark, and we were really nowhere. And we were just like, okay, we have to come back. So we left, and we went back again last night. And when we went back last night, we had an experience here where we together energetically recognized that in order often to birth a new timeline, sometimes a death has to happen. And I was thinking it more as a death of some sort within ourselves, that something that we need to let go of in order to pass into something new. But also we were recognizing, as looking at these two stones of these married couple that are buried here, that we could feel the frequency that they were in love, and that love then carried them into another timeline, together. And that love is so potent and powerful, and it can be many loves. It can be the love of a lover, the love of a child, the love of something that you hold and carry with you as you die, and it's carried with you into the next timeline. You may think of that timeline as another lifetime also, but it propels you forward. And so the frequency of love is so powerful and so beautiful, and the union of these energies. And that's what we're doing here as we are birthing this new timeline, is we're unifying so many different pieces, and asking you to recognize within yourself, what is it that you can unify and bring into balance in the polarities within yourself through the 0 point of love, which is the key and the doorway to opening up a new timeline, that you are unifying these different fragmented pieces. So I will go into this more when we do the activation. Of course, I'll be channeling and activating everything with you guys that day. It'll be very powerful at the summer solstice, but I think it's really important to have the context of what's happening. Outside of the chapel are these circles of trees. Actually, Freddie Silver had mentioned this as a portal place where people stand, and when they're in it, they feel like they've moved into another dimension. We went in there briefly. I did not have that experience in the trees. However, I did have the experience of this here. Debistry felt a lot of dizziness and spinning. We felt like this particular energy here, that the slots were moving back and forth, and I felt the floor moving beneath my feet. And I think if it's a place that you would have to return to many times with diligent practice, but it's a time machine to other timelines and to the receiving of information. So we did that. And then we went to Fingal's Cave. So we were on the Isle of Iona in that chapel where we were toning. We had tickets to go to Fingal's Cave. We're standing online for the boat, and Devonshire are not kind of people that miss boats or planes or things. We're pretty responsible. We have our tickets in hand, and somehow we miss this boat. Like, we're right there and we miss it. So I'm like, well, it's clearly designed perfectly. So as it turned out, that day that we were supposed to be on that boat and go there, it poured and it was a nightmare. And so we had to go the next day. Look at the day we had in Scotland. Absolutely perfect. So we went the next morning, everything lined up. We had these perfect seats. We got on the boat and the dolphins showed up, the Atlantean energy and the Lemurian frequency, and they danced and swam with us and came with us and brought us to, not the whole way, but they were around our boat on our way here to Fingal's Cave. And again, another miraculous thing, we get off the boat. I don't know, it's probably 50 people on our boat, a couple boats before us. There's got to be over 100 people in this little space. Everyone's like walking along the line to get to the cave. And I'm like, there's going to be all these people when we get to the cave. I want to be in there alone. I want to tone and check everything out. And of course, Devashree and I were alone in the cave. We don't know how it happened. We are like moving. There was just nobody there. I don't know where they disappeared into the ethers, but nobody was there. We were by ourselves. So this is Fingal's Cave. It's known to be the second oldest rock in the world. As you approach it, I'm sure many of you on the call have been there, but someday I hope all of you can go. It's a spectacular. As you approach it, you're just in awe. But the other thing is that when you start to do a lot of this magical journeying and work, you recognize that places like this our land, we know what we recognize where portals are, we recognize what landing pads are for star beings. We recognize that things often in nature are in plain sight but seem in disguise, and are entrance points for all types of energies, and perhaps things that even look as outlandish as this might sound, that are made by nature, may have been just like the Giza pyramids, which we know were built and not made of nature, but have a certain frequency and connection to the star beings to be a conductor of energy and the receiving of information, that certain places on the planet as powerful as this perhaps were placed or even built by beings that we're unaware of. I know that's a lot to take in. We're just opening up to that possibility. So this inside the cave, it feels like a womb. It's very beautiful. This particular image doesn't show that. It looks very much like a yoni. And this is the womb space. So this is what's needed to connect with this frequency before we do the birthing of the timeline at Callanish. So if cultivating something within the womb to give birth to it, or you're holding that particular code of sacred birthing, or um, of the holy womb energy, or even the Kali, the feminine frequencies, the Mary Magdalene, you're tapping into that energy. That may be one of the stones that you want to connect to, is the womb space. So here we are in Fingal's Cave. Then we climbed up to the top. As you can see, the landscape here is stunning. And we're over Fingal's cave. And I've done many over the years, many different activations and codes where we use the top of Staffa as a point place, like in the High Priestess class and so on. As this is a place in which I feel a seeding of much of civilization and connection to the star beings occurred, and lots of rituals. They say that at one point that there was just a narrow river between this space and the mainland of Scotland. That's how much the geography and the landscape has shifted over time. Okay, this is just something that we noticed in the landscape as we were driving from Mull to the Isle of Iona. You can just see how beautiful the landscape is, but there's these three bodies of water, and you can't quite see in this photograph, but they're connected by tiny, smaller bodies of water, like little umbilical cords. And we're really connecting more and more with that. What we'll be doing at Callanish Stones is we're going to be merging the inner earth energies, which some of you may be very connected to, the fairies, the elementals, the dragons, the ley lines, the telluric lines, the deep inner earth grounded frequency, which will be woven into this new timeline. Then we have the main energies of the timeline itself, which would be the center. And then many of you may be really connected to the galactic frequencies. One of the things that we understand about Fingal's cave and Staffa is that it's aligned, that there's the main cave that the tourists see, but there's two more, and they align with Orion's belt. Orion's belt is something that you connect often to in Egypt with Giza. It is a place where more stars are born than anywhere else. That it's giving birth all the time to new stars, and its alignment is usually very significant in its representation and connection to the work that we're doing. So this was just a reminder of that. Okay, so that's what I've been up to. And I wanted to tap into that with all of you because what I'd love for you to do is between now and Thursday to notice, because it feels as though we are weaving the Lemurian energy, which is very feminine, with the dolphins, the crystals, the crystalline energy, the sweetness there, the Atlantean, the powerful energy, it in its higher timeline, the Knight of the Templars energies, Mary Magdalene and the love frequency, right? The living resurrection vibrations, the holy womb vibrations, the sacred birthing, the seeding, the galactic energies, the star beings from different systems, whether that be the Pleiadians, the Arcturians, connecting with Orion's belt, all of these energies. We are bringing in these ancient rememberings, these ancient understandings and teachings, and gathering them along the way to then walk the stones. And we're going to remember the key that you guys got a couple of Sundays ago, like a month ago with the Atlantean Council. The key is going to open this 13th stone, which is connected with the 13th constellation, which is the bearer of the serpent, which the serpent is the Kundalini, which is the union through love that's going to merge with the Mother Source creation grid, the Mother Source creation grid that I've been sharing with all of you. And so when we merge the infinite frequency of love together in union through our heart center with all of these codes at a time like the summer solstice, at the height of this opening, with the veil is so thin and the light is so strong, right? On such a sacred place, on such a sacred land, in such a distant world away from technology, the busyness and all of that, in these barren landscapes, we together collectively, you, all of you, are with us on this journey. And we unify this energy through this love frequency. And we literally seed into the womb all of these codes. And each of the pieces, the seeding, the light conception, Gabriel's energy coming in, the moving of timelines, it all moves into the womb. And it is through the womb that something is brought to life. And it only can come to life through union of the divine masculine and the divine feminine that then gives birth, right, to something new. And and what it is feeling like is each of you are a part of that, those codes within the DNA of this energy. So we're not actually giving birth to a being that perhaps we think of in light conception as it's doing so, and yet many beings are being born right now. And Raphael has talked about 12 special energies coming into the planet that are born through light conception that will have a huge impact on it. But we are giving birth collectively together to a higher consciousness by choosing to come together in unity, to unify in this union through love, that we choose through our day to keep choosing love over fear, over and over and over our anxiety, over that we don't have enough, over that we're sick, over whatever's showing up, and integrating all of those pieces and those parts of ourself that we haven't loved or that we've shoved away or that we haven't listened to, and unifying them into our heart. So it doesn't mean to deny the shadow or to deny parts that we are, in a sense, when we talked about birth and death, giving death of something, when there is death of something, something new is born, just like the living resurrection that we speak of, right? And so, what is it that you're giving birth to on the summer solstice? What do you want to birth into this timeline? You have to have a strong intent and a knowing of what that is. And I want you to bring that knowing and that intention to Thursday. So, what is it you are intending to birth in your own experience? What are you intending to birth for the collective? What are you giving to the collective and energetically holding in relationship to what we've just been talking about, or on your own that's coming to you that you know that you're here to bring as a light worker? And just start to mull over that and get more clarity as to what that is. So that when you come, I'm going to ask you to come to the space on the summer solstice on Thursday with the highest frequency that you can hold, and invite anybody who else in your that you know to do the same. Have your kids show up on Zoom too, or your spouses if they're open to it. Invite everybody in and say, can we come together collectively, and how much love can we hold for those 45 minutes that I'll be channeling? And what frequency are we going to give birth to? Maybe you want to draw it, maybe you want to write it down, maybe you want to put it out in front of you, maybe you want to share it in the chat. And if we're birthing a new timeline, what is in that timeline? What does it look like for you personally and collectively in humanity? And how does that lead us on a trajectory that's different than the cycles that have been repeated throughout history that I truly don't believe we need to repeat again? And how can we take the love from Lemuria, the love from Atlantis, the gifts, the blessings from all of our knowledge, wisdom, and lifetimes and carry it through our DNA, through our heart into this new timeline by merging and accepting all parts of ourself in our current moment, wherever we are, whatever they may be, which sometimes requires us to step into vulnerability and to let go. I know that when we were in Dom and Her, one of the main themes as I was working with the Ascended Masters was don't hold back. I don't want you guys to hold back or to put a ceiling on your dreams. Open the box, widen it, think outside of the box, expand into bigger possibilities. How big can your dream be personally and collectively? Um, and it can be little things, right? Like my mindset was in the construct. I rented my car at budget. I have my, itinerary code. I have to stand in this line. And then I was like, what? No, I don't. simple, tiny little thing, right? It's not, but everybody else was. They all had their thing too. And there were all these places that were empty. You don't get charged just because you booked it until you actually give them your card at the spot. But we get so stuck, and it's just a little example. But when we break out of our thinking patterns and we shift or change something, or like when we were driving yesterday, and we were like, the guy was like, you can't drive on this space. Like you can only go so far. And we couldn't walk that far with all the midges and the biting, and it was going to get dark. So we broke the rules, and it was tight, but we made it around the corner and it worked out. Where is it in your own life that you can push the boundaries here a little bit, break your thinking and your constructs? Because we need that in order to find the magic and start to align with it. It's not going to happen from the current thinking and constructs that you're operating in. And so take a look at, where those places are that maybe you can expand more. All right. So between now and Thursday, look at where you can expand your thinking, where you can break constructs, what it is you want to give birth to personally, what it is you want to hold for the collective, what you see this new timeline looking like. For me, Raphael said, remember when we had the equinox? There's life before the equinox and there's life after. And I was like, well, that's a big statement. But that has what it's felt like for me. And for us as a community and a collective, as we work together, what came out of that was the Mother Source creation grid and the new earth code and the symbols and the weaving of all of our energies together. It's really powerful stuff. And so this field is another gateway, and the Lion Gate will be another one. We keep hitting these thresholds, right? And each time we're up in the ante in the consciousness, and we're opening up doors in our heart, opening up doors more and more, and moving through these beautiful spaces. So that is what I wanted to share with you. That's where I am and what I'm doing. I am not going to channel tonight, but I wanted to give you a story and the magic of what's happening. And I will see everybody on Thursday at 4:50 p.m. New York time. Please invite everybody. We're going to hold the love. Everybody is welcome. And it looks like there's a ton of messages. Hopefully, I didn't miss anything super important. um, that everybody, I will read them afterwards, but thank you for being on the journey with me so much. And I'll just keep following me on Instagram. That's the best way I can communicate with you guys. And I'll keep posting and showing you. We have 4 more days before the solstice, and I know a lot more magic's going to happen. And that means we're going to finish what the different pieces are for the stones because we haven't completed it yet. And each day we learn something new. So I'll keep sharing. And as I'm sharing, there might be something there that clicks for you that you're holding and weaving into our journey. Okay. All right. I love you. I will see you if you're in my Atlantis code. I'll see you in the morning, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and everybody else will see you Thursday at 4:50. All right. Love, love, love. Have a beautiful day and happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there and the divine masculine energy, which we need and adore. Okay. Many blessings. Bye, guys.